about what were the topics dealt in the last class? So we have gone
Addressing
through
modes.
the 3-byte, 2-byte instructions. That is instruction format, isn't it? And then regarding the addressing mode. So you have 5 addressing modes. One is your register addressing mode. Then you have your direct addressing mode. Third is your indirect addressing mode. And the fourth is immediate addressing mode. Fifth will be your implied addressing mode. Now, what do you mean by the register addressing mode? So in the case of your register addressing mode, we are going to use all the general purpose registers wherein you are going to perform the operation with respect to the registers, isn't it? So here, such type of instructions, we call it as, or they come under your register addressing mode. So the best examples are, you have your add instruction, increment, decrement, logical or XOR, then subtract and so on. Fine. Now coming to the second one, that is direct addressing mode. So in this case of addressing mode, the address of the operand is going to be specified within the instruction itself. That means you're going to perform the operation directly, isn't it? So you have the examples for the direct addressing mode. That is store instruction, STA, LDA, then you have your LXI, then LHLD, and so on. Yes. So that is your with respect to the direct addressing mode. And then coming to the indirect addressing mode. So in this case, the address of the operand is going to be specified by the register pair. So register pair in the sense you have your PC. Then can you mute yourself, all of you? Yes. So you have your stacks instruction, that is stacks D. Can you start? Hello. Ask your parents not to talk there. Can you mute yourself?
Data structure
So in the case of indirect addressing mode, so the examples are LDAXD. So LDAXD means what you are doing indirectly, you are going to address the register, isn't it? That is, you have your register pair DE. So register pair DE has to be initialized with respect to the LXID comma address location. So the content of this address location is indirectly being specified by your register pair, and then it is being transferred into your accumulator. Or you can have your stacks D, that is storing the content of your accumulator onto the register pair specified. So here we have given an example as stacks D, that is D is nothing but your D register pair. So this D register pair is going to point to the address location as 8900. So such type of instructions come under your indirect addressing mode. Now coming to the next one. So we have the immediate addressing mode. So in this case of addressing mode, operand is going to be specified with respect to the 8-bit data. Yes. So here immediately you're going to transfer the data into the respective registers specified. So here the instructions which are ending with I comes under your immediate addressing mode. So best examples are move immediate instruction, and then you have your OR immediate, subtract immediate, then add immediate, and so on. So all these instructions come under your immediate addressing mode. Now the last one is we have the implied addressing mode. So this implied addressing mode, we are going to operate only on the operand. Can you stop? Hello? Can you mute yourself, all of you? Too much of disturbance there. Yes. I don't want anyone to disturb in the class. Thank you. So in the case of implied addressing mode, that is the operand is going to be specified within the opcode. You know what do you mean by an opcode, isn't it? That is nothing but the operation code. So we have certain instructions wherein there is no operand specified. So when we speak about the operand can be either a register or it can be your address or it can be your the data, isn't it? So in this case, what we do is we are going to have only the operation, that is the operation code or a opcode. So the best examples are, fine, I'll just write it down here. That is CMA. CMA is nothing but complement A. For example, I have A as my value here. I mean, A, if I have 34 as my data. So what happens? Complement A is nothing but complement the content of your accumulator. Now, how do we write 34? 34 is being specified as into your 8-bit data. What is 3? 0, 0, 1, 1, isn't it? And then 4 is 0, 1, 0, 0. So when you perform your complement operation, what is complement? The inverse of your number, isn't it? So we have 1, 1, 0, 0. Yes. 1 second. And then 1, 0, 1, 1. So what is the value here? Can anyone tell what is the value? Yes. 8 plus 4 is how much? 12. 12 is C, and then this will be your 8, 9, 10, 11. What is 11? B. CB is your complement of your 34. Yes. So that is called as your complement A. Fine. And then we have complement C, that is complement carry. Fine. And then the other one you can write it as RAR, that is rotate right through carry. RLC, rotate left without carry. Yes. And then RAL and so on. So likewise you have certain instructions which are going to be specified under your implied addressing mode. Can you understand? Fine. So these are the instructions which come under your implied addressing mode. So you have 5 addressing modes: direct, indirect, then register addressing mode, immediate addressing mode, as well as your implied, or we also call it as an implicit addressing mode. Any doubts in this? Can you see all of you? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now coming to the next important one, they'll ask you explain the addressing modes of 8085 with an example each. So under each of the addressing modes, you are supposed to give one example and then explain how exactly the addressing modes are going to be operated. Now coming to the instruction set of 8085. Yes. So with respect to the instruction set of 8085, we have certain instructions which are going to be grouped under different categories. So in this case,
Ma'am,
yeah,
have you changed the PPT? The PPT is still in the addressing modes.
I have changed it, no?
No, ma'am, it is not visible.
It's not visible. Now,
No.
No, ma'am.
one second. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to the instruction set of 8085. So in this case, the instruction, it is nothing but the command which is going to perform a specific operation with respect to the 8085 processor. So here the instruction, as you are already are aware of it, the instruction is being divided into two parts. One is called as your opcode, the other one is specified as your operand, isn't it? So the operand can be either an 8-bit data, 16-bit data, it can be your address location or it can be your register. So this 8085 has 75 instructions. So all these 75 instructions are going to be grouped under different categories. Now what are these categories of 8085 instruction set? Now coming to this, it is being classified under 5 categories. One, we call it as the data transfer instruction. The second is your arithmetic instruction. Third, the logical instructions. Fourth, we term it to be the branching instructions. And then the last one is the machine control instructions. Yes. So what is this data transfer instruction? So in the case of your data transfer instruction, now what we do is you are going to transfer the data between the registers, or it can be your, what we call it as, it can be either your registers, it can be your address location and so on. Fine. And then you have your input output devices versus your accumulator. So what you're doing is you're going to transfer the data from your source to your destination. So the name itself will specify data transfer. That means you're going to transfer your data from your source to your destination. So such type of instructions are grouped under your data transfer instructions. So we have move instruction. One is called as your move immediate, load, store, then SHLD, LHLD, and so on. So we will be learning all these in detail once we complete this. Fine. And then coming to the arithmetic instructions, you are already aware of it. Arithmetic instructions means you have the arithmetic operations, that is your addition, subtraction, increment, as well as your decrement operation. Now, in the case of your 8085 microprocessor, we don't have the instructions to perform your multiplication as well as your division. So what we do is, in order to perform the multiplication operation, we have the successive addition, and in the case of your division, it has been termed as your successive subtraction. Fine. So for example, if you want to multiply 3 into 2, yes, that is 3 is going to be added 2 times. So similarly, in the case of your subtraction, you're going to perform the division. Division. In the case of your division, you're going to perform the successive subtraction. Yes, and then along with that, we have the decrement as well as the increment operation. So addition, subtraction means the examples which come under your arithmetic instructions are your add, add immediate, add with carry, then subtract, subtract immediate, and then subtract with the borrow, as well as your INR instruction and INX, which has been specified with respect to the register pairs. Similarly, you have your decrement, the DCR, as well as your DCS F instructions. Yes, so these instructions come under your arithmetic instructions. Now coming to the next one, that is logical instructions. All of you are aware of your logical operations. So what are your logical operations? And, or, not operation along with your XOR operation, isn't it? So here, and you have your NOR as well as your XNOR. We are not going to consider NAND, NOR, and XNOR. We have only 4 operations. One is your OR and XOR operation along with your complement, that is nothing but your inversion. Fine. So the examples are uh, or or A and or immediate and immediate, then XOR immediate, and so on. So all these instructions come under your logical instructions. Fine. Now coming to the next one, that is branching instructions. All of you are aware of your branching instructions. So under your branching instructions, we are going to perform the operation depending upon the condition or unconditional. So in this case, we have unconditional instruction, which is called as the jump instruction. JMP comes under your unconditional instructions. Whereas your conditional instructions, we are going to check for a particular condition. So you have already learned about your flags. What are the 5 flags of your 8085? One is called as your carry, then you have your 0 flag, and third is your auxiliary carry, parity, and then the sign flag. So here also we are going to check for the condition. That is jump on carry, jump on no carry, jump on 0, jump on no 0. Then you have your jump on odd parity. Next is your, that is we call it as jump on positive, jump on negative, and then jump on odd parity, and then jump on even parity. That is how we are going to check for the condition here. Yes, so all those instructions come under your branching instructions. And the last one is your machine control instructions. We have only 2 instructions which come under your machine control. That is, it is going to control the processor. So one is called as your halt instruction, HLT. The other one is being specified as NOP, which is nothing but your no operation. Right? So all these instructions are going to be grouped under 5 categories. Are you able to follow? Yes. So 5 categories of instructions are nothing but your data transfer, arithmetic instruction, then you have your logical instructions, branching instructions, and then the machine control instructions. Any doubts in this? All of you? Yes?
No, ma'am.
No doubt, ma'am.
No doubts? Fine. Now coming to the first instruction in your data transfer instruction. So what I will do, I'll explain this instruction and then we will start with a small program, how to write a program using these instructions. Yes, I want all of you to make a note of this so that it will be easier for you to understand how an assembly language programming is being written and how you are going to execute the program. Can you follow? If I am fast enough, please stop me. I'll go slow. Fine? Yes. The first and the foremost thing under your data transfer instruction is the move instruction. Move RD, RS. That means you're going to specify RD as your destination register. RS is being specified as your source register. So that is what I told you. That is, in the case of your data transfer instruction, you're going to transfer or move the content of your source register into your destination register. Can you follow? So here what we are doing, we are going to transfer the source to destination. Fine. So similarly, we have one more instruction, that is move M, RS. RS is source register. That is, you have how many registers, general purpose registers? 6 general purpose registers. That is B, C, D, E, H, L. So you can use all the registers as your source registers. Yes. And even in your previous one, the destination registers, you can use all your general purpose registers. So in this case again, you're going to use your source register. The content of your source register will be moved into your M register. So what is this M? M is a register which is going to point to your HL register. pair. Fine. And then in the same way we have move RD comma M. M stands for your memory, which is nothing but a register which is going to point to the HL register pair. So from M you're going to transfer it into your destination register. Yes, so this comes under your direct addressing mode. So it is a 1 byte instruction wherein you're going to perform the operation with respect to a single address location. Yes. Now this is the example how we are going to use the move instruction. So what you have to do is you need to write the instruction as, yes, any doubts in this?
No.
Yes. So we have written it as move A comma B. I have taken an example as move A comma B. B is a register wherein you're going to transfer the content of your B into your A register. Now, before execution, you have the content of your B as 24. Yes, after it executes your move instruction, you have your move A comma B, isn't it? So what is move A comma B? The content of your B register. What is there in B? 24, isn't it? So 8-bit data 24 is being present in your B register. So this 24 will be transferred or moved into your accumulator. That is A is nothing but your accumulator. So after the execution, you will have the value in in accumulator as 24. Can you follow? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. So similarly, we have one more instruction, move M comma A. What is there in A now? 24, isn't it? Assume that you have 24 in your A register. So this 24 will be moved into your where? Which register? M. What is this M? M is a register which is going to point to your HL register pair. So after the execution, you'll find M, that is nothing but 24. But here in this case, fine. So you're going to have, that is M, which is pointing to your 20 HL register pair. Fine. Now, what happens here? You have all the 6 general purpose registers, isn't it? So the instructions which come under your move instruction is, you have move A comma B, move A comma C, move A comma D, move A comma E, all the combinations of your general purpose registers. Fine. So similarly, you have move B comma A, move B comma B, move B comma C, and so on. Yes. Now, along with your M also, you have move A comma M, and then move M comma A, move M comma B, move M comma C till your H and L registers. Now, what I will do is, I'll write a small program using my move instruction, because you have learned only move instruction, isn't it? Now, before we go with the programming with respect to the move instruction, I'll explain move immediate instruction. Then we will write a program using move as well as the move immediate instruction. Yes, move instruction is only between the registers. That is, you are going to transfer the content of the register specified into the destination register. Now coming to the move immediate instruction. Move immediate instruction is again the 8-bit data. If you can see here, the 8-bit data, what you are going to have will be transferred into your register, specified register. Yes, this is a 2-byte instruction. The first byte will be specified for your move immediate R, that is whatever the instruction you have. Yes, So here I have written it as move immediate A. This stands for your opcode. That is, the first byte will be specified for your opcode and the second byte will be specified for your operand. What is your operand here? It's an 8-bit data. Now here I have written it as an example, that is move immediate A comma 24H, isn't it? So this 24H, H stands for your hexadecimal number. If you don't write also, it's understood that it is an hexadecimal number. Fine. So we just write it as move immediate A comma 24. That means you're going to transfer 24 immediately into your A register. Yes. So here also you can use the registers, all your 6 general purpose registers along with your accumulator as well as your and the data can be an 8-bit data. So this instruction comes under your immediate addressing mode. Are you able to follow? Yes. So this comes under your immediate addressing mode, whereas your move instruction comes under your register addressing mode as well as your what we call it as the direct addressing mode. We can write it as register addressing mode, as we are going to deal with respect to only the registers. Fine. Now coming to the program, I'll just write a small program. How exactly we are going to use. This is your move immediate instruction, what I have explained. Before execution, you have the instruction as move immediate A comma 24, isn't it? So after the execution, the data will be 8-bit data, which is going to be immediately moved into your A register. So after the execution, A will have 24H. So similarly, with respect to your move instruction, move immediate M comma 8-bit data. So I've written it as move immediate M comma 24. So before execution, you have 24 as your immediate data, which will be transferred into your M register. Yes. So here after execution, M will be having the value as 24H. Yes. Now we will move on to how to write the program. Yes. So this is my small program. So you have the memory. I'll just write it as memory address. Fine. And then the second column will be for your hex code. Third column will be for your label. And then fourth column will be for your instruction, or we turn it to be a mnemonic. Just write it as an instruction. Fine. So the first thing is, I'll write the instruction here. Move immediate A comma 24. I'll take an example, or whatever it is, I'll write it as 56 as my data. Fine. 56 or 57. Fine. The next instruction is move. What is there in A? 57, isn't it? Now this 57 has to be moved into another register. That is move B comma A. Then I'll write it as move C comma A. Yes. So similarly, I'll write move D comma A, and then all the registers. Move E comma A, D, and then you have move H comma A, and the last one is your move L comma A. And then you need to end the program. How do you end the program? We have the halt instruction, or we can use the restart instructions. So this is the program, how you're going to write the program. Are you able to understand? I have written what I'm the main intention of this program is. I'll just write it as,
Ma'am,
yeah, yeah.
you
Tell.
have said that H comma L can also be written as M. So can we write move M comma A so that whatever is there in A will be transferred
No,
into
no. You
H?
cannot write. No. It cannot be done here. You can write here A comma M. Fine, but it will store it in only one lower order byte. Understood? Yes. Write a program to store, what is it? 57 in all the registers. This is how we need to write a program. This is a program in order to write the program or store 57 in all the registers. Can you understand? Yes. So what happens? You're going to write first, you need to accept the number, isn't it? If I don't write move immediate A instruction, I am not aware of the value which is being stored into your accumulator. How do you store into the accumulator? So we need to use the instruction which is called as move immediate A comma 57. Or you can also write it as whatever you want. You can write move immediate B comma 57. If I store 57 into my B, I need to write here as A comma B. Yes, because you are going to accept 57 in your register B. Can you see here, all of you? Isn't it? So 57 is your 8-bit data, which is going to be immediately transferred into your B register. So from B register, you are going to move it into your A register. So similarly, from A, you are going to move into your C register, A to D, then again A to E, then you have A to H as well as A to N. Yes, or you can even write in other way. Yes, so what you can do is you can either specify here, we have written it as move A, B comma A, isn't it? The third instruction, you can write move A comma C. Then you can just, instead of A, you can just write it as C, D comma C, or you can write E comma D. Yes, or it can be your move, you have your H comma E, then L comma H. That is also correct. Fine. So in whichever the way you want, you can write the program. And then
Ma'am, if
without,
I write M comma A, what happens, ma'am? What will be
pardon,
stored in?
M comma
If I write
A.
M comma A, yes.
M comma A also you can write, but again you need to initialize your HL register pair. Or what happens, you need to go to your lower order byte, that is L. Yes, because when you use your M, it will store into your lower order byte. Again, you have to move to the next location, that is H, higher order, and then you have to check the value there. Understood? Yes. So I'll explain when I use my LXI instruction. There we are going to use move M comma A. That is A comma.
How will we know when to stop, ma'am?
No, this is, you have used all your 6 general purpose registers. Can you see here? You
Yes,
have
ma'am.
used A,
Yes,
B, C, D, E, H, L, isn't it? All your 6
Yes,
general
ma'am.
purpose registers. What is my program? Write a program to store 57 in all the registers, isn't it? So you have to use your all the registers. So how do you store the value in all the registers? Using your move instruction. So if you have to move certain value, what is the value? 57, isn't it? So first thing is you need to accept 57 in any one of the register. Are you able to follow? You have
Okay,
to
ma'am. Yes,
store
ma'am.
57 in any one of the register. So suppose if I use move immediate A comma 57, in the next instruction you have to write it as B comma A.
A.
Okay. So here
Okay,
I
ma'am.
have written it as move immediate B comma 57. So 57 will be moved into your B register first. Then move A comma M means you are going to transfer from B to A. So similarly, move C comma A means from A to C. Yes. So you have used all the registers here, isn't it? Till AL you have used. Then you need to end the program. So you halt HLT is your instruction, which is going to specify the end of your program. Can you understand?
ma'am.
Yes? Yes. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is how you're going to use your instructions. You want all these changes here? Shall I discard?
Discard it, ma'am.
Fine. Yes. So this is how you're going to write. But what we do is, suppose I start from, because here in the 8085, the kit what we are going to have or the simulator, there are two types of kits. One is called as your SDK kit. The other one is being specified as MP8085 kit. So here we have the kit also, as well as we work on to the simulator, which is a replica of your kit, microprocessor kit. So this kit, we are going to start the address location from 8,000 and above onwards. So below 8,000, we are going to not use it because it will not identify the address location below 8,000. Whereas in the case of your SDK kit, we can use from 00 onwards. Fine. So we start with 8,000 address location, and then this is your, what do we call it as, the hex code